Here we go, guys. We're going to bring the podcast folks the their their first taste of a free for all Friday. Now, I may wait a little longer than the usual 5 minutes before we start the podcast version of the stream, just because I just got home, so this live stream was listed without any advance notice. So give it a little more time for people to find their way here. Hi, Willie, and Fegacini, and Zuchen, and Dante. Oh, people are finding. Oh, looks like Susan might have sent a notification or two out there. Johnny Rocketon, and Callum, and Kobe, and the Madman. Connor's back in. Connor, you said you were getting notifications all of a sudden. That's cool. It does seem like, I will say this much. It seems like when we stream more regularly, we tend to get more notifications. That could just be coincidence. I even noticed it seemed like we were getting more notifications when I started taking YouTube's advice when they tell me, hey, now would be a good time for a commercial. And I started actually doing it. It seemed like they started sending notifications out more. Now, the last couple times it happened, I didn't, because we're in the middle of a podcast. And then we had that stream day before yesterday where they didn't send out any notifications. Willie says no notification. I just stalk you. So that's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to introduce the podcast crew or the podcast people to our Free for All Fridays. So anything you've got that you've been saving up for to share with us on a podcast is it would be good to wait to share with us on Free for All Friday. It'd be good to wait for the podcast. Jack says, guess who got a notification? Special boy right here. I'm special. Hi, Chrome. Chrome just got up. What time is it for you guys, Chrome? I can't keep track of it. Sometimes you guys are 4 hours, sometimes 5. I think you're 5 right now, right? Isn't it 6:36 there? I can't keep track. Well, we're changing our clocks forward again in a couple weeks. Yeah, okay, so it is. It's 5 hours. That's what I thought. No, just the PS4, Chris. Just the PS4. And that's coming up later today. I really got into playing GTA 5 yesterday. Now, I'm hoping to do, after this stream, I'll quick edit up as quickly as I can the podcast, because I couldn't even post yesterday's podcast yet because today actually has the day's name in it. So I'll have to put that up today and that one up Saturday or Sunday. But I'll edit down for the podcast, and then I want to play more GTA 5. So any of you, I'm trying to do it earlier because, again, we have a lot of folks from Europe, and it's 5 hours later there. So when I start late like I did last night, that's asking a lot. Let's see. Oh, how many of the mods we got in here, too? I wanted to run something by the mods, too. I'm hoping, and I mean, you guys can all have this information, but this would relate to the mods specifically. I'm hoping to be able to do largely gaming here. There's waning interest in a lot of things here at the channel, and you guys know I'm pushing the series reactions over to the Goosh Anime Club. So it's mostly just Try Not to Laughs here, and I want to get it to the Try Not to Laughs, the podcast recordings, and our live streams. But I'd like to go back to gaming. I really miss gaming. That's why I ended up buying an Xbox and everything. I've really been missing it. The only thing is, you guys know this is what I do for a living, and it's the Gooshers who support and allow me to do it. So that said, if the streams don't generate anything, because like GTA 5 streams are automatically demonetized, I'm not going to be able to do them with any regularity. I can't spend that much time away from doing other things that supports everything. So it'll be the first time during those gaming streams, I'll probably pin a post telling people where if they want to donate to helping the channel, they can do so through super chats. Yeah, think of what you're saying, dummy. Channel memberships, the size doesn't matter crew, or the Goosh, the Patreon. So I was going to ask mods when you're in there, and again, I never want to inundate people with that stuff, but anytime you think of it, if you're in watching one of the gaming streams, feel free to mention that pinned post, because I'd like to be able to really do a lot of gaming here, have it be a cornerstone or the cornerstone of the channel again. But I can't spend that many hours on stuff that I know for a fact Susan's going to demonetize. And I have learned through having the Patreon and having the super chats here, everything works better when you have your community supporting you rather than counting on YouTube for anything. Because I don't like counting on YouTube for anything. Even with some of these streams, when the conversations get too much for YouTube sensibilities, I will be having streams that are just going to be a link where you can go to see the actual stream, because I'll take them right off here. I've got another avenue to go with for them. Poppy says, "Hey Spaz Man, I have a story of the consequences of not paying attention." Oh, when with animals? Poppy, I read that wrong. I'm such an idiot. Oh, Poppy, I thought you had visited Alabama, and it's like, and you had an encounter seeing what they do with the animals down there. I gotcha. Yeah, not paying attention when with any animal can be scary. Well, thank you guys, mods. I appreciate that. Smash the fuck out of promoting. I said more cocaine. I appreciate it, guys. And you guys know that I've never done that before. But, and I'm sure most people understand that, again, when this is how you make your living, I can't, and gaming streams take a long time, I can't just spend hours and hours doing that when it just doesn't generate anything, especially with my schedule the way it is already. The Spider-Man game, everybody, I played, Connor, I couldn't even tell you which one. I played one of the earlier Spider-Man games. It was awesome. If we get the channel in gear, I got to watch for, because I think Poppy's telling me the story about the animals. I got to watch for that. If we get the gaming channel in gear, we'll be playing lots of different games. The first thing I want to do, though, is I want to get through GTA 5. We can intersplice another game in with it here and there, but I want to finally get all the way through it. Now, yesterday, I only played for a little over an hour. I got through, you guys have seen in the past me trying to get through this. I did get through the entirety of the opening and did a couple missions as well. Oh, Big Green. Let me, because Big Green's in with me on all the gaming streams too. Basically, what is Big Green? I want to be able to do the gaming here regularly. And to do so, especially with GTA 5, they're automatically demonetized. So it's the first time I'm ever going to have a post pinned, just telling people where if they want to support the channel, you can do it through super chats, channel memberships, or joining the Goosh. I could even put a PayPal ME link in there as well even. And I was just asking the mods, only in gaming streams, you don't do it in any others, not during the podcast, not during Free For All Friday, just during gaming streams, feel free to mention to people, I don't want to inundate people with it, but feel free to mention to people that the post is up there if they want to, if they so desire. Hey, happy birthday a day early, Morgan. Very cool. Oh, Morgan, you're still in that sweet realm, or that sweet era of time where birthdays are still really cool. You're a youngster. I look at mine now, it's like, that number means death. Final Fantasy VII was a sponsored game, Ashy. I don't know offhand. I'd have to ask if Alpha's got plans for that in the future. I know he's already sponsored, what was it? Some more God of War 3. I don't know. I'd have to ask him. But again, Big Green, it's only during the gaming streams. And I want to play more GTA 5 later today after I get this one edited up for the podcast. Hey, PK1. Hello, I am alive. That's a good thing. I say that every morning when I get up. I am alive. Fuck yeah. Won again. 28 tomorrow. Prime of your life, sweetie. Prime of your life. Those were good years. And I mean that sincerely. I'm not just saying that to boost you up. But that was late 20s, early 30s. For me, anyway, was a great time. I mean, you've got enough life experience that you don't fall into as many traps as you typically did earlier, but yet you're young enough that everything still works. And with me, with the wrestling and everything, you heal like a young person, because you heal much better when you're talking with muscles, tendons, things like that, when you're younger than you do when you get older. It's wheelhouse years, perfect years. 25, Connor, same thing. You guys enjoy it, because you really are in good times. Oh, your Persona K and the PK. I was wondering. Okay, gotcha, pal. Oh, okay. Yeah, you haven't been in with us in a while. Good to see you back. Oh, I missed Poppy's post. Thank you, Wolverine. See, you guys know me. I distract myself so easy. Okay, got it. Went on holiday last week. It was helping with my aunt's farm, and we were walking donkeys. My mom had donkeys for years, and I didn't watch my foot position in the donkey. I was walking step straight on my foot. Oh, shit. 320 pounds on the foot. Got away with a soft tissue. Oh, you're lucky. Yeah, you're lucky. It's because typically with ankles, it's not necessarily the weight, or it's the angle. Because you can do it with next to no pounds of pressure. You can fuck your ankle up. It's all in that angle. You got lucky. That's good. I'm glad you weren't hurt more seriously than that. Thank you guys for reminding me about Poppy's post. Yeah, my like I say, my mom had donkeys for years. I don't know why, she always liked them. I always thought they were contrary little shits. Just released a proper sort of trailer for it today. Oh, that's cool, Chrome, for Pokemon. Cool. All right, Wolverine, thanks for popping in. Yeah, yours I figured, Christian, just because of the Pyro Bird connection. I remember Pyro Bird Chris. And when I saw Christian the Pyro Bird, yeah, I figured. Zuchan, I called you Wolverine? No, Wolverine said, anyway, really got to bounce now. And I said, okay, thanks for being in. Why did you? No, you were the one who had said you missed Poppy's post. I said, I appreciate you guys, showing me that. And then I was talking to Wolverine about him leaving. I hear you got to catch them all, but perhaps that's just conjecture. Could be, Jack. I've heard the same thing, but could just be hype. Oh, come on, we got to start the podcast. And now, for those of you in here, if you haven't been in on one of the podcasts before, the podcasts go usually 30 to 40 minutes around there. And then when I'm done with the podcast, I'll have some time to chat with you guys. We're going to chat during the podcast, especially today. It's Free for All Friday. You guys take things over. So it's all on you. But we'll go back to a regular stream after the podcast portion. Okay, guys. Hold on just a second. I got to put a little bit of a break in here just so I have an editing point, and we'll get started with the podcast. Okay, everybody, here we go with another episode of the Curtis Candy Podcast. You lucky people. As always, now this is something, you will discover. I will start one sentence and interrupt it with another one on the regular. So, make sure you're very nimble with your listening abilities. Today, I'm bringing something to the podcast that we've been doing for years at our YouTube channel. Now, many of you know the podcasts are recorded at my YouTube channel, which is Spaz Boys Comedy. And for years there, we've had something called Free for All Friday. I know it's a really witty name, and it's it's not too on the nose or anything when you put the actual name of the day in there. It's like saying the city you're in when you're in pro wrestling. It's cheap pop. But anyway, Free for All Fridays are basically where I turn the content over to those of you who are with us in the live stream. You guys direct the conversation. I have to warn you guys when we have a more traditional podcast, we have, believe it or not, even though we go off the rails sometimes, we do have a specific topic that we're talking about. That is not the case on Free for All Friday. And because of that, these can become NSFW. So just be forewarned, there's no telling. And a lot of times they aren't. But I have no idea where Free for All Friday streams are going to go. And I couldn't resist bringing that to you guys here in the podcast as well. They're always a lot of fun. We've got a funny crew here. And by all means, feel free to join us again. Just search Spaz Boys Comedy on YouTube. You'll find the channel. It's a good time. So we've got our regular crew in here. Most of the mods are here. A lot of the regulars are here already. And I'm just going to start working off the chat and seeing what everybody's talking about. First one I see is Boyko Lopez says, I'm making mac and cheese in my underwear. See, now, I'm the unusual sort there, Boyka. I have zero issue with your being in your underwear. I think, hey, let everything fly, be free as you want it to fly and be free. I got no problem with that. I have a problem with the mac and cheese. Because if it's typical mac and cheese or the way most mac and cheese is created, are you using American cheese? Then no. No, I want nothing to do with it. It offends me. It makes me upset. I might have to go to a safe space. I can almost stand it if you're using a cheese other than American, but and I know people think sometimes I exaggerate this. I'm not kidding. That shit is disgusting. Hey, first wave negativity agrees with me. I usually get yelled at for saying that. He says mac and cheese is disgusting. It's gross. Anything to do with American cheese or mayonnaise, I don't believe in the devil, is the work of demons. Yeah, I don't believe in the devil, but I believe in demons. I don't know what to make it the work. It's the work of Hitler. Whatever. It's the work of evil. Excuse me. Oh, and Boyko wasn't even telling me the truth. He says, sorry, bro, I'm talking about the meme. Now you got me all worked up. Not that that's hard to do. So this is Free for All Friday. I already got worked up, went on an entire little rant, and poor Boyko was like, I was just messing around, dude. Calm down, fat old man. Spray cheese? Oh, Glenn, really? Glenn says spray cheese is amazing. That's usually American cheese, or at least the ones I've seen. Those are American. That, I actually, I don't even like talking about it. I did have a dollop of that once. That spray cheese, that spray American cheese. What possessed me to do it, I couldn't tell you. And it was a long, long time ago. But when you do something that insanely, monumentally stupid, it stays with you. Oh, it was so gross. The taste is already horrific, but then you add the consistency of that spray. And Jack Queen says, you don't lie about nudes. You see, here at Spazvoice Comedy, some things just aren't a joke, right? You know, if somebody's talking about nudes, we expect them to be nude, or even if in underwear. Because I'm a sad old man, and I need something to, something to keep my mind company. And Boyka could, judging by our statistics here, is likely a guy. And I'm not gay. I'm always willing to learn. I'm not gay, but I don't care if anybody's in their underwear. I'm for that, or nude. Did I mention I like boobs? I don't think I mentioned this stream yet. See, that's one thing I can say that should be a positive though for you younger guys. And I have had people ask me that. I've had people ask me. I think young guys get nervous, and they're like, "Does your sex drive really take a hit as you get older?" And I can only speak for me, but no. And my poor wife, because no, mine hasn't. I don't know. There's, from what I read as far as statistics and everything, there's definitely something wrong with me, because it seems like my libido has gotten more active. I really like boobies. Chrome says you're always willing to learn you're not gay. Well, yeah, that, or learn something new about it that maybe I was missing out on. Poppy says, not sure if Spanish drivers are incredibly polite, letting people cross the road, or they're so scared that we as tourists are all drunk. Yeah. Oh, are you in Spain, Poppy? Or were you in Spain? But regardless, that's always a possibility. They probably are terrified. It's like, especially of us Americans. Listen, I don't blame anybody for being unsure about what an American might do next. As one of the American miscreants, I think I can speak for many of us. Chimera Yuri says, just got hired to be a school crossing guard. I can't wait to decide which child lives or dies. Ultimate power. Now that's what, for you podcast listeners, that's what I'm talking about with Free for All Fridays. And the thing of it is, I mean, you look at that on the surface and you think, wow, that's a horrible thing to say. But if you stop and think about it from, the crossing guard's perspective, yeah, it's still a pretty horrible thing. I got nothing. I was trying to defend you, pal. I got nothing for that. That's pretty terrible. Perfectly acceptable here, but pretty terrible. Madman has a good point. He says Curtis definitely isn't gay. The chair shots just make him forget that sometimes. Wouldn't that be wow? That could come to pass. I mean, from what I know about CTE and brain trauma and stuff like that, and with all the concussions I've had, I don't think that's out of the question, right? It it could happen where Curtis, I was going to say ancient Curtis, but with all the chair shots I took and the concussions I've had, it could happen next week. Next week, I could just wander into a gay bar and, be in the back room doing whatever they do in the back room of a gay bar going, oh, I think I remember this. Yeah, this seems like me. I could picture that happening. Josh says, hey, Curtis, a couple buddies and I are going to see John Wick Chapter 4 on opening night. I still have not seen a John Wick movie. That's sad. Because I never hear anything but amazing things about the John Wick series. And the sad thing is, when I was young, I never missed a movie. And as I've gotten older, it's just a time frame thing. I just don't have the time for it. And there are so many movie series out that I want to see. And I just missed. My wife and I went to see the latest Jurassic Park film because that's one of hers and my tastes are so different in entertainment. That's one of the few movie series that both of us really like. So outside of them, it's always hit and miss with me keeping up, except for Toy Story. I made sure I saw all four of them right when they came out, and I'm not sure how I feel about them coming up with Toy Story 5. Any of you Toy Story fans, what do you guys think? Although in fairness, I can say I wasn't sure how I felt about them coming out with Toy Story 4 either, because it was such a perfect trilogy. I was afraid that all they could do from this point on is ruin it, but 4 was good. 4 was good. When I rate the Toy Story movies, for me, it's 3, 1, 4, 2. So 4 was right there with the others. And I apologize. Now, to the podcast listeners, you'll hear extended pauses, especially on Free for All Friday. Usually that's not me restarting my heart after a heart attack. Sometimes it is. It's typically just I'm reading through comments and picking one out here. Chrome says, I've seen the first 3 Toy Stories and love them, but I have no interest in 4, honestly. From what I've heard, it kind of spits on 3's ending, so 5 has negative interest. I would disagree with that, Chrome. I don't think it really spit on the ending. I mean, that was my big concern, too, was they weren't going to be able to leverage the storyline to make it not do exactly that, and just trash it. I don't think it did. I thought it was good. Again, it wasn't the best of the 4, but it wasn't the worst of the 4 either for me. I enjoyed it. Introduced some really good characters as funky and obviously toy friendly, merchandise friendly as Forky was. He was a good character. And Duke Kaboom was a really cool character. No, I ended up enjoying it. Oh, and the Madman says here now, and again, here we go with the. I don't know. That's not safe for work. We're going with it anyway. Madman says, "Give it to me, give it to me!" She yelled. "I'm so wet. Give it to me now." She could scream all she wanted, but I was keeping the umbrella. that's jokes. We got jokes. Ashy says, "Are you familiar with The Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger?" I I don't remember if I saw all of that, Ashy. I have seen it was one of those movies I didn't go to the theater to see it. And I know I've seen since I have seen at least bits and pieces, but I don't think I ever saw that one start to finish. And it's been ages since I even saw those bits and pieces. And Chrome says, by the way, not sure if you saw, but Jack Black dressed up as Bowser to promote the Mario film since he's playing Bowser. They had to censor it with a blur for reasons. Really? I like Jack Black. Jack Black just, to me anyway, just seems like a good dude, doesn't he? I mean, he could be tricking us all. And if he is, so what? But he just seems like a good guy. Jack says, "Oh, Curtis, I took my little cousins to see Phantom of the Opera for the first time. For those of you who don't know, I am such a Phantom of the Opera nerd. And I am not a big theater person, but I freaking love that show and love that music. I grew up on it, but they loved it. I had to get them the 25th anniversary on YouTube as a gift. That's cool, Jack. That's cool that they ended up really liking it. I just love that. Absolutely adore that show. I took my granddaughter to it a couple of years ago. Let's see, she must have been about 11. And great time. She loved it. She's big into dance and performing and everything, so it was right up her alley. And which one was it? When Christine Daae hits the really big note in I forgot the title of the song, but you guys all know the note I'm talking about, where she first takes over when the boy, names are escaping me today left and right. The uppity narcissistic star is out. She takes over the song. When she hits those notes at the end, it was one of the great reactions of all time. It was almost like a sitcom. So my granddaughter is sitting to my left, and the actress playing Christine is hitting those notes, and she's just got this wide-eyed, genuine expression, and she just turns to me with that expression looking like, people can't do that. Just, oh, I love that show. And Jester says, "Why do emo teens make great skateboarders? They get great hang time." Now that's darkness. There's some serious darkness for a free for all Friday. Oh. now I've got Phantom of the Opera running through my head. What was it? Nighttime sharpens, heightens each sensation. Darkness stirs and wakes imagination. Silently the senses. That was terrible, but I don't care. I love that show. The King and I was a great musical. It really was, Poppy. Nothing tops Phantom for me, but yes, that was amazing. Yul Brynner, I think, played the King, didn't he, in the famous movie version? Because there's been more than one. Lex says, "Really like the movie. Never seen it live. Probably should." Yeah, it's sad. It's ending, or did it end? No, I think it's in March. It's ending its run on Broadway after all these years. And it was just difficult for a lot of the shows to come back from COVID. So sad. And I'm terrible with names. The two of the last three times we saw it, large black gentleman played, I can't remember his name, big guy, played the Phantom. He was my favorite. Oh man, what a voice on that guy. And he more than anybody else I've seen play the role, he really made you understand that the Phantom was a tortured soul. If you can, and again with the post concussion, especially those of you on the podcast aren't familiar with a lot of the dealings with that. Nouns, specifically names of places or people, escape me all the time, and his name just won't come to me. He was brilliant, unbelievable. All right, and Thomas posted and wants me to look for his last post. He said, "Did you hear that scientists did a study on alcohol and people's walks? The results were staggering." I love terrible jokes. That's a quality groaner right there. That's awful. Connor says, "I thought it already ended." It may have, Connor. I may have the dates wrong. Lixbox says, "Curtis, have you seen the live performance they did for the Queen's Jubilee Party on YouTube?" I have. It's brilliant, isn't it, Lix? That's stunningly brilliant. Oh, I love that show. Yes, I've watched that a number of times. I can't play it on here because of copyright. I wish I knew they were cool with it. I'd love for you guys to hear it. Let me take a peek. See if let me see if because I will certainly credit the people. Let me see if there are any videos made doing reactions to this specific piece I want you guys to hear. If there are, you can assume they might be okay with us putting on it, because I don't care if they take the monetization from the stream or anything, just as long as they don't, shut us down. Let me see if I can find that. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Flora Jansen, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing the name properly, but she's brilliant. And she did on this international show called Beste Zangers. Again, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. She did Phantom with Hank Port, and let me see if it looks like there are any reactions to it or anything online. Or maybe we can at least listen to a little bit of it. And I apologize. I know those of you on the podcast are like, "Dude, we can't see this stuff." I know. But I'm just checking to see if I might be able to get away with playing this for you guys. Now there's a vocal coach reacting to it. Rosalie reacts. Another vocal coach reacting to it. It kind of looks like a lot of reactions to it. What do you think? You think we're safe to take a chance, guys who are in the stream with me here? I would love for you guys to hear this. I got to put on headphones if we're going to do it. This is brilliant. I'll play at least a little of it, and then I'll skip around to the highlights. Listen to this, you guys. Let me make sure I've got... Yes, I do. I have that audio on. This is stunning. Yeah, Lick says it's fucking amazing, dude. Listen to that voice. I'll see if I get a pop-up here notifying me that, in my studio that I shouldn't be doing this. But it's unbelievable. And again, if you want to support this, just search for, like the surface you walk on, or Jansen and Henk. Henk Port, P-O-O-R-T. Search that on YouTube. You'll find this video right away. All of them. Insane. And listen to this guy. I would sacrifice a testicle to have a voice like that. Now, instead of taking a risk, I'm going to pause. Let me move down the line a little bit. There are some spots in here. Listen to the two of them. Just stunning. And you've got to watch the video as well, especially podcast listeners. Look this up on YouTube. And I'm going to go to the part where he begins calling out Christine to sing for me. Listen to this. That stuff, it gives me chills. I'm not an overly emotional person. If you want to get to my emotions, this does it. Sing for me. Unbelievable. That is just, it just blows me away. It doesn't matter how many times I hear that, it hits me on every level. Unreal. Yeah, me as well, Jack. I'm not a music. He says I'm not a musical fan. In fairness, but fandom is different, right? There are several musicals I like, but it's certainly not my preferred genre. But that is a whole different world. Oh, you want to hear the metal version? Floor Jansen used to sing for Nightwish. I won't play that one too. I don't want to push my luck. If you go on YouTube and search Nightwish, all one word, it's the band, Nightwish Phantom of the Opera. Oh, that's the real metal version. That's what they did, is they took that song and made it metal. That one's right on par with what she did right there. Jack says Raman Karamlu was the best Phantom I've seen. He's the one on the 25th anniversary. Crazy, powerful voice, but he was able to push the heartbreak factor too. I have nothing negative to say about any of the Phantoms because they've all been amazing. He does not top my list. But yes, the only reason Raman doesn't top my list is, you're right, he had the sensitive side down perfectly. I think some of the others, for me, just my opinion, embodied the tortured nature of the Phantom better, and that was a big deal to me. Chrome says, I was actually tempted to sponsor, and when she says sponsor, she's talking about our crew here at Spaz Boys Comedy is associated with our Patreon, which is the Goosh, and they sponsor videos there. Some of the Gooshers, Chrome has been sponsoring for some time. Was actually tempted to sponsor a ballet magical girl series back when I was deciding what shoujo series to sponsor. I didn't because I thought it would be a little too femme for you. But now, yeah, I've always said I don't discriminate based on genres. If a story is good, I'll enjoy it. Genre doesn't matter to me. If a story is good, I'm there. Mortem says, usually I would listen to Limp Bizkit or Slipknot or some deathcore, but I'll give Nightwish a try. Yeah, I enjoy it, Mortem, especially that version. And again, names escape me all the time. But the lead singer of Nightwish, when you hear them do that, the Phantom, again, if you search Nightwish Phantom of the Opera on YouTube, that will be the first result. I think he does fantastic vocals as the Phantom because of his raspy, hardcore voice. To me, really embodies what the Phantom should be. Lachlan says Nightwish is great. Yeah, they're amazing. I've listened to little bits and pieces of other things they've done, and yeah, and that's not even my genre. But yes, they are good, very good. And Vinny the Gamer says, if the story is good, then like you said, I'd watch it. Everyone has their own taste. Right. I've never been, I can say that for myself. I've never been a genre snob. I don't care what genre it is. If you're going to tell me a good story, keep my interest peaked. I've told you guys before, when I watch something, when I consume something, some form of entertainment, I would never make a good critic because I go into it wanting to like it. I always go into things looking for the good. The only thing I can say there is, if I tell you I saw something and it sucked, it was really bad. Because I will guarantee you I went in looking for the positive elements of whatever that was, and it didn't have any. Jack Bright says, if the story is good, I can't finish properly. And most times, story is critical. Sometimes it can be a little overrated. uh, and Philip says, if you like Nightwish, give Beast in Black a try. They're a Swedish metal band that's kind of a tribute to Berserk. Oh, that's cool. They've also expanded into early cyberpunk anime. Oh, that's very cool, actually. Vinny says, don't know if you remember, but the old YouTube name was Vin Bambi 95. It's been a minute or two. Oh, it's good to see you again, my friend. Very good to see you again. All right. Well, I think listen, this gives you folks listening to the podcast a little bit of a taste of what Free for All Fridays are like. We have no idea where they're going to go. You got the gambit this time. You heard some really dark, possibly disturbing jokes. We went. Who would have thought when we started this we were going to go off into the world of Phantom of the Opera? But here we are. We did, and it was awesome. And you got to listen to an old man get choked up listening to a song that he's heard at least 800 times before. But Free for All Fridays are a great time. So if you're listening to the podcast and you can make it over to the channel, please join in. We really do have a good time here all the time, but especially on FFAF. Now, as always, the podcast is out on every service. I don't know where you're listening to us, but also at our Patreon. And the Patreon is just patreon.com/the Curtis Candy Podcast. At our Patreon, you can always see every episode, listen to every episode there for free. That is not behind a paywall. The paywall is only there for anybody that wants to support the podcast with, by having more input into topics and stuff like that. So by all means, feel free to stop by the Patreon as well. And thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed Free for All Friday. I don't think anybody can not enjoy Free for All Friday. It's become such a staple here. It's become a part of my being, which thinking about my being is just creepy in general. Anyway, but the next podcast, I haven't decided for sure on the topic, but it will be a specific topic on this next one. And I hope to see you guys who are here in the stream with me there. And I hope that you folks listening are there listening to us again. I will talk to y'all real soon. Okay, guys, I just have to leave a little break in there for editing. Glenn says, you like my Dolphins this year, Curtis? You mean this coming year? It's going to depend on Tua. If he can stay healthy. If Tua's healthy, yes. Yes, I do. But, all the injury issues now and the concussion issues, and being a connoisseur of concussions and what I've learned about them, I know that everybody reacts differently to a single concussion to numerous concussions. We got to see how he deals with them. Hunter Free says, Curtis, you are the only person I've ever used Patreon for. No regrets. Well, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Very much. Zuchen says, son, Dad, if I told you I was gay, would you still love me? Dad, don't be silly, son. You were an accident. I never loved you in the first place. Oh. 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 And Big Green says, so how about those French, huh? What a bunch of pompous fuckers, right? You guys are funny. Oh, Chrome's got got an image of Jack Black dressed as Bowser. Hold on, let me take a peek at that. Oh, Jesus Christ, Jack. He does. He just seems, and again, could definitely just be a good acting job, but he just seems like a good dude. Vinny the Gamer says, went to Walmart yesterday and saw some Batman shampoo. Can't believe they didn't have Conditioner Gordon. That's a quality pun when it hurts a little. That one hurt a little. I like that. Hunter says, after watching Edge Runners, would love to see you do a playthrough of Cyberpunk 2077. Could happen now that it wouldn't have prior to having watch Cyberpunk Edge Runners. But yeah, now having seen that and enjoyed that as much as I did, that could happen. Ashley says, "What do you think of rickshaw rides?" Seem like fun. I've never taken one myself. I feel sorry for the poor rickshaw driver that has to lug my fat ass around. But I've never been on one, but they seem cool. Exactly, Krusty. He says, a quality pun hits hard when you start cringing at it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys know that. I'm big fan of bad jokes and bad puns. Jack Queen says Jack Black does seem like a good dude in fairness. Yeah. I feel like Jared Leto could be a dick, though. No one would be surprised. Well, I know I wouldn't be. I mean, I'm not saying he is a dick, but just what Jack said. Yeah, if you found out he was, no, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Not at all. But yeah, Jack Black seems really cool. Obviously, Keanu Reeves always seemed real cool. You know who was, now we're going way back, but was notoriously a good guy to his fans was Burt Reynolds. And Burt Reynolds, back in the 70s, him and Clint Eastwood used to go back and forth as to who was the highest grossing box office draw in the world. And there's a lot of stories about cool things he had done just randomly with fans and stuff. He had one of my favorite stories. Him also involves Norm Macdonald, who was one of my all-time favorite comics. And if you guys remember on SNL on the old Celebrity Jeopardy, Norm would play Burt Reynolds, and dumb as a rock. I mean, absolute idiot. And so Norm told a story, and I'm paraphrasing the story, but this is the basic gist. He said, I think he was in a bathroom or something. He was somewhere, and he runs into Burt Reynolds, and he's like, "Oh boy, this is gonna suck if he kicks the shit out of me," because I've been basically calling him a moron on national TV every week. And Burt Reynolds, they said, Norm said, came right up to him, said, "That's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life." Burt Reynolds said to him, he says, "You talk to Lorne Michaels." He said, "I will come on the show when you do that bit." He said, "You can be on there acting as Burt Reynolds, dumber than a rock. I'll come out all offended. I'll kick the shit out of you, throw you off, take your spot, and then I'll be dumber still," he goes. And Norm's like, "Really?" And Burt goes, "Yeah, that'd be hilarious." And so Norm was all psyched for it. And then shortly after that, they fired Norm from the show. And nobody knows why. that would have been classic. That would have been a keeper. But yeah, NBC, good call. Right, Smokey Loki. Loki says Burt Reynolds and Tom Selleck, two of the few men that can pull off a mustache. They can absolutely pull off. Well, they can rock a mustache. I mean, a lot of us could pull them off. It would hurt, but. Vinny says Jack Black is the uncle who makes Christmas and Thanksgiving even better. Good point. Dan the Man Severn. I always liked Dan the Man. Glenn. Hell of a fighter. Great fighter. Philip says, I get in a musical mood every once in a while. Fiddler on the Roof, Little Shop of Horrors, and Don Quixote are recurring guests on Spotify when I hit random. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, FX guy, that's awful. Elvis walks into a bar and the bartender asks, "How would you like your martini?" Elvis says, "Oh, all shook up." No. Yeah, true. Mortem says, well, you can't really physically rock a mustache either. Ooh, really, Chrome? Chrome says, oh, also Funko seems to be burning. They just had to dump 30 million of their stock in a landfill because it won't sell. That would disappoint me. I like collecting Funkos. That would disappoint me. I have started to want to, with the anime stuff anyway, collect some more of the more higher end statuettes. But where is it here? You kidding me? Where the hell did they put that? I'm losing my mind, you guys. Did that fall off my shelf? All right. I'm missing. Oh, right in front of me. I was so excited when they came out with this one. If Funko goes belly up, I'm just glad that it wasn't before I got this. I absolutely love this pop. That is my favorite. That is one of my all-time favorite scenes in anything at all. I did, Philip. He says, "Did you ever hear about Elvis shooting his TV with a shotgun when he didn't like what was on it? Talk about an overreaction." I did. I had heard of that before. That and the peanut butter and banana sandwiches. Why did Madman says, "Why does Dr. Pepper come in a bottle? Because his wife died." I've heard that one before. Oh yeah, Lachlan. He says, "Yeah, the Komugi scene will always make me cry." 100%. That's why, you know, whenever somebody says, "What's your favorite anime?" I always have to tell them the same thing. There's a lot of anime that are elite to me. It depends on what mood I'm in, what would be my favorite in a given moment. But there is still, to this point, we'll see what One Piece does. But to this point, there is still my absolute favorite arc within an anime is the Chimera Ant arc. Just, oh, that's amazing. And yes, that gets me every time I watch that whole Komugi and Meruem. Komugi, are you still there? Hi, hi. She goes, that voicing is just perfect. Just perfect. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up because, again, I really want to play some more GTA 5. So if you guys got time, hopefully it won't take me too long to get to it. I've got to oh shoot, I should have recorded this as we went because now I have to wait for YouTube to render this stream. So then I pull it from YouTube, take the audio out, clean the audio up, and then post it as a podcast. So as soon as I get all that done, I will be starting the GTA 5 stream. So if you want to hang out for that, please do. Excuse me. And I'll try and remember to write up, as I told, and this is just to the mods, I'll try and remember to write up that little post telling people, how they can support the stream if they want, because I'd really like to be able to stay with the gaming, hopefully permanently here, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, so it won't be, it shouldn't be too awful long. That'll be the longest part of it, waiting for YouTube to get this prepared for me so I can grab the audio from it. But it is Free for All Friday, and we all know what that means. And it's been a while, but it's just one of those days where I feel like the sticky stuff is gonna be primo. Every once in a while you just get the feeling that, hey, it's a good day. Well, it's feeling like it's a good sticky stuff day. Am I hyping it without merit and you're going to get it and it's going to suck? Possibly. But I'm just telling you what it feels like. Get it? Feels like. Here it comes. Pampu pampu. Sticky stuff for you. Sticky stuff for you. Sticky stuff for you back there. Sticky stuff for you over here. Sticky stuff for you. Because we'll bang, okay? Flashily like Buggy. And as always, most importantly, and it's never a pretender. It's always the real thing. Goosh, 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 goosh. Goosh.